Well, good morning. Rather a different walk today. Today we've caught the bus to Overton and we're going to go over to Sunderland Point. And the only way there by vehicle is across the marsh here, which floods twice a day with the tide, of course. So yeah, we'll go and have a look at Sunderland Point. Now there are in fact two bridges over the wider creeks. The first one, where we filmed earlier, was Lade's Bridge, and this one is Woodbridge. Not made of wood though, which is a bit strange. The original one must have been. And we're looking out here towards the River Lune as it enters the sea. And there's lots of seabirds, as you can maybe hear. Lots of waders. Anyway, we're about halfway across to Sunderland Point. Well, I think I'll have a bite to eat and enjoy this wonderfully peaceful place. So a little bit about the history of Sunderland Point. It was once the main port for this area, but with the coming of the quays being built in Lancaster, and of course the slave trade, of which we'll speak a bit more later, meant that this place almost became deserted. It became known as Cape Famine. Yeah. And then ultimately Lancaster fell from favour when Glasson Dock, just across the estuary here, across the River Lune, was built and enabled really quite large ships to dock at high tide anyway, and they still do. Grain and wood, coal, mainly grain I've got to say. But yeah, it's just a wonderfully peaceful place. So Glasson Dock is immediately above the boat that we can see out there in the water. Well, that brings us to the end of the imaginatively named first terrace. And just on here, I'll show you that in a minute, is second terrace. No guesses there. Well, we're coming towards the end of second terrace now, and 30 or 40 years ago, just back here, there's a big cotton tree, but of course it's gone. Yeah, that was supposed to have seeded itself from one of the ships that came in. Lent against this wall here is a half net, and that works by standing out in the channel and you brace your body against the net, and generally used for salmon. The salmon run into it and can't get out. There we look up the River Lune as it goes up towards Lancaster, and with the Bowland Hills in the background, sweeping round more Bowland Hills, and where the Lune enters the Irish Sea. So out there at the mouth of the Lune is Plover Scar Lighthouse. So we've left the hamlet of Sunderland Point between the first and second terraces. So this is the final resting place of a little cabin boy, a slave, captured in Africa, and came all the way to Lancaster, where he'd had enough of being a cabin boy and answering to other people, so he tried to escape, and did escape. But it's thought he died of something that he didn't have any immunity to, a natural disease, flu or whatever, and he died. His body was carried here by the sailors who were on the ship that he was on, and buried here on unconsecrated ground, because he wasn't a Christian. Not sure that was a crime really, was it? Anyway, that was back in 1736, and people still remember him. So this is the other side of the peninsula upon which Sunderland Point is, and a huge area of salt marsh all the way around, with Haitian power station, and in the distance I can see, and you might not be able to see on the GoPro, Blackcomb. Behind me over there there's a sculpture, but the door's fallen off, so I'm not going in there. Anyway, I have to go back along this lane now, back to Sunderland, and then it'll be back across the marsh, back to catch the bus. Well, that concludes our walk to Sunderland Point and a bit of exploration. A different walk, no mountains, well, unless you count seeing Blackcomb in the distance. Yes, something a bit different. Change as good as a rest, and my right knee needed a rest, so nice flat walk. Anyway, I'd just like to say thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. enjoy this wonderfully peaceful place, other than the aeroplane above.